First question I'm going to ask you both is a pretty simple one. Do you miss racing?
Jamesy boy.
I miss it terribly.
Aye.
I miss that adrenaline rush that I used to get. That first bend with 3 other riders. Into a last heat decider, heat 15. Never get that again. So I miss it.
Personally, I certainly the same kind of things what James is saying. Obviously, being amongst the boys, the team spirit and things like that, the laughs and the van and things like that I miss. What I don't miss is getting home for Ipswich after scoring about 2 points with your bike absolutely bombing and you've got to wash it and staying here for Armadale. That side of it I don't miss, but yeah, there's a lot of it that I do miss, and as James says, we'll never replace that, we'll never replace it.
Obviously, as you say, you can't replace that adrenaline rush, but one thing the two of you have got in common is that you don't attend Speedway much these days as well. Is that hard for you to go back to?
Well, that's what I was saying to Sean Courtney there. That, when I've been going to Glasgow, other than when I was helping Nick Morris last year, I went 3 times this year. When I was standing up in the pits, I just said to my old man, I just want to go home. I don't know, it's just something I can't get into it anymore. I'd just rather be part of it,
of course.
Whether I was mechanicking or racing. I just can't stand and watch it. So
Derek, obviously it's not so long ago that you actually retired for racing, end of the 2014 season, but did you go out in the best way that you could possibly ever imagine a Speedway rider to go? I mean, the last 2 seasons of your career you won everything at Premier League level. That's going to be the best way to go?
From a team point of view it was, yeah, don't get me wrong, after me as a captain in Edinburgh the last 2 seasons, like, pretty much to win everything. Like, I don't know if there'll be another Edinburgh team for a long time that'll ever do that. For me on a personal level, like I probably knew quite early into my last season that I was done, I was burnt out, I was kind of finished with it, you know. But for a way to bow out the sport, what better way, you know? And the same for the Edinburgh, the captain Edinburgh to do what we've done that season is just unbelievable.
Of course, James, in contrast, Jack and Glasgow were going through a bit of a tough spell when you decided to call time in your career. Did that make your decision slightly easier in a way?
Oh, definitely. That was one of the reasons as well. It was just Glasgow Speedway was on its knees. And I had a couple of health problems that year as well, which didn't help. So knowing now what they've got, I think I would have stuck on for maybe another season with the new owners and raced for maybe another year, but I didn't know that was ahead, and also my health get better after an operation, so the year after I was actually fine. I probably could have went on for maybe another year or 2, but I'm glad that I finished when I did, on a high.
Of course. It's going to be my next question. I mean, the level of investment that was in Glasgow Speedway at that point to the level of investment that's in it now, there's got to be some sort of envy there, really, isn't there? That you couldn't be a part of that as it's grew.
Oh, of course. I mean, when you're riding Speedway, I mean, it's not just all about the money. You've got to be happy. I mean, these guys have got loads of money. But who's to say that when some of the riders go there that they're going to be happy? It's not all about just earning big bucks. You want to be happy when you're riding. You could be on a fortune at Glasgow and not scoring as many points because you're not happy, and be riding for Redcar, a poorer club, and be happy and score more points. So it's not all about the money.
Of course, Derek, as we look back at the recent history, maybe in the last 3 or 4 years, it's actually been a bit of a purple patch for Scottish Speedway. If you look at that, obviously 2 Scottish guys in front of me. Edinburgh been hugely successful, perhaps not in the 2016 season, but Glasgow basically dragged herself off their knees and now winning trophies. It's got to be something that Scottish Speedway can be proud of, not just the individual clubs.
Well, you look at it over the whole country, at the end of the day there is only 2 Scottish clubs, and between the 2 of them in the last 3-4 years, what they've achieved is, and the nature of the sport is absolutely fantastic, you know. The only other kind of club in the league that's kind of matched it has obviously been Somerset, but overall Scottish Speedway, with the size of Scottish Speedway, they've done fantastic in there.
Of course. Just to take the both of you back slightly to kind of the earlier days in your career, James, you had early success in your career with both Glasgow and Wolverhampton. What are your memories of that time, obviously Shawfield and then moving down to Wolverhampton?
I've got great memories. I mean, I've got some fabulous memories at Shawfield. That was my heyday, and I'll always remember that as my best kind of days at Shawfield. Massive crowds, a great stadium, and then obviously I moved to Wolverhampton again, big crowds, great stadium, won the league and cup. So it was never bad feat. 2 league medals and 2 knockout cup with Glasgow, and the same again with Wolverhampton early on in my young career. It made for a good future.
Of course, you developed a great kind of relationship with Wolverhampton as well throughout the years. Obviously later on in your career you went on to double up, the club close to your heart as well, although you're synonymous with Glasgow Speedway.
I don't know, like me and Stuart McDonald, we another week there we went back for a 20-year reunion, at a 20-year meeting, League One, and the fans still to this day remember us and they think we're great. I don't know why. I think it's all the Scottish riders at Roadale, Jim McMillan and Hunter and stuff like that. They all love the Scottish boys at Roadale. So I love Wolverhampton. It's a great club.
Just to come back to yourself again, James. Although you're a massive Glasgow legend, you also rode for, like, as I mentioned in a previous kind of interview with Berwick, Edinburgh, Newcastle, Redcar. Did you have to keep your career fresh with changing clubs, new challenges? Was that something that you always felt as if you had to have in front of you, instead of course what people expected you to do, stay at Glasgow?
No, I think like a lot of riders can stay at the one place and get a wee bit complacent and lose a wee bit of form. I think a wee change was always a bit good. And look at Mark Laram, he changed a club every year. And he was always sharp. But for me, I changed every couple of years, other than my long kind of spells with Glasgow.
Derek, just like James, you're synonymous with Edinburgh Speedway, but would it be fair to say that one of the happiest times, as James said, you got to be happy at a club, but some of the happiest times you had during your career were actually in Newcastle?
Without doubt. Even to this day, when I go down to Newcastle, it's just like a home from home. You're treated like a king, as you know. That's what we were doing there ourselves, that we're promoting the bike and stuff the other week now. George and everybody involved in the club, that even to this day still, like, I could phone George up and he would bend over backwards to do anything to help for me. Absolutely loved it at Newcastle, and yeah, as I say, it's like a second home to me.
So you get the same feelings towards Newcastle as well, I'm sure, James?
Oh, I had 2 brilliant seasons at Newcastle, and my mechanic was from Newcastle, Roy Clark, and we had some great times. And I used to stay when I was racing there, I stayed down there a lot, at Roy's house, and had a great relationship with Newcastle. Same with Derek, going great with George, his family, his mother. I loved it down there. I think it's just one of the clubs. It's a friendly.
It's just a welcome, and
it's a great place.
You know, just some great riders at Newcastle as well, Derek, riders that would go on to do some big things in the sport, or had done big things in the sport, so it was quite an influential stage of your career as well.
Of course, yeah. I mean, one of the top that was went to go probably the furthest in his career was obviously Kenneth Bear. Came across to Newcastle when I first rode there. He was 17-year-old, and it was the first time I had probably came across in the Premier League a rider with that professionalism, which is now just the norm in the Premier League. But back then, just his equipment, his setup, just everything was just head and shoulders above anything I had ever seen at that level. Guys like Kenny Larson and Mark Lemon, I could name loads and loads of guys that I rode with at Newcastle that have achieved big things in the sport, you know.
Do you think that's a stage when the Premier League became more professional, when more of the older school riders were dropping down into the Premier League and these foreign imports were coming into the league?
Yeah, as more and more the kind of the Danes and Swedes and all that started to basically come into the Premier League level, the equipment they were bringing over, they're kind of, they never drunk, they ate properly and things like this, you know what I mean? But like it did, the sport kind of changed on its head there, to the point that for the British boys and all that, for us to be competitive with them, you have to go down that lines, which means make sure your equipment's better, make sure you look after yourself better, and that's the way it is now. It's the Premier League's at a level. I I put on par with the elite league, to be fair, you know. It's the guys riding Premier League are riding just as good equipment as most of the boys in the elite league.
Of course. James, as we look at the Premier League from that time, you've two guys, you work for a living as well as riding Speedway, but did that become harder throughout the years, the longer your career went on, when you've got guys like Kenneth Beer coming into the league, professional Speedway rider, top name, but for guys like yourself working Monday to Friday, you're trying to keep up with the guys, trying to maintain the same sort of average that they do?
I didn't really notice it. I just plodded on at my work and just done my own thing with my bikes and just went out there and raced my bike. I didn't really notice a difference that way, but what I have noticed is, and it was Christian Henry when I was at his testimonial meeting at the beginning of this year, what he said, nobody seems to kind of socialise anymore. They don't go into the bar, the riders don't go into the bar as much and socialise with the fans and stuff. Whereas when I used to go to Glasgow, you'd be in the bar and you'd maybe pick up some sponsorship and stuff, so it's always good to go in and have a wee bit of socialising. But as Christian says, he went to the bar at Newcastle and he was the only one that would go into the bar after the meeting, so that's the big difference as well.
It's a pretty important part of the sport, trying to maintain that even now, because obviously it is a family orientated sport and fans want to see the riders in to speak to after the meetings, really, don't they?
Oh, that's where folks think it's different from football, where the footballers just disappear, they don't get to mingle with the fans, whereas Speedway was always different. The riders went into the bar and socialised with the fans after the meeting and stuff, and that's where you did pick up maybe a wee bit of sponsorship, so it was always good.
What we're going to do now is we're going to move on to some fan questions. We've had a few sent in when we put out here that we're going to do this. One for Chris Black is he's actually got two questions, so I'll maybe post one to you. But first one's for Derek. Firstly, how did you know it was time to pack in?
For me personally, I don't know. I was finding everything a bit too much, between trying to hold down a full-time job. I had went through a difficult patch in my relationship and split up with my ex, and my daughter Sophie was miles away from home. I was having to travel back and forward, and everything was just getting a bit too much in my life. I couldn't put the time and effort into my Speedway that it deserved, you know. And it just kind of snowballed to the point that I just knew I couldn't continue the way I was going. You know, I wasn't feeling competitive, and when you're not enjoying your Speedway, it gets harder and harder to do it. And also financially, when you're not scoring points, you're not making money, so you can't invest it in the bikes, and it's just, I don't know. I just think I just woke up one morning, I think as every rider does, and every rider comes to that point in their career, they'll wake up one day and just realise that it's enough's enough, you know.
Is that the same for you, James, as well?
Basically, obviously, as you were picked up on earlier, Glasgow was in a big low, nearly shutting the doors, and there's just a lot of things. As I said earlier, I had a few health issues, and I was getting older, and I just knew at that time it was time to give it up. But as I said, maybe I could have stayed on for another year. But
Chris's second question, maybe direct this at you, James, because we've been talking about the kind of development of Speedway riders and stuff. What do you feel about the new ways of promoting National League riders into the Premier League?
Well,
obviously we're bringing in, like last year, the 3-point reserve and stuff like that. Do you think that's good, like, for the progression of the sport, basically?
Of course, I think it's a great idea. That's what British Speedway needs to do. They need to take, I don't know much about the rules in Poland and stuff like that, but I'm sure they have a limit on how many foreign riders and stuff like that come into their teams. And no, that's what British Speedway needs to do. We need to encourage the youngsters on. Like when I was young, they had match races between me and like Jason Strawn and Stuart McDonald and stuff to see who was getting into the team. You need the boys against the bigger boys to pull them on.
Of course. Derek, obviously there's been changes in the recent EGM where we're going to have promotion and relegation. Hayley Blythe has asked, do you think that the renaming of the leagues in the playoff and relegation can basically improve the sport?
My honest opinion is that, like, I think people have spoken about this in the past, but I'll give you an example. For instance, if club like Edinburgh got to the point at the top of the league and going to win the league to go up to the obviously the top league next year, would they be able to obviously financially make that viable? So would they then hang back to make sure they don't finish top? I could be totally wrong, but it'll be interesting to see. The only way to find out if it'll work or if it'll no work is to obviously to do it. So until that happens at the end of the season, it'll be interesting to see how it'll work.
One for you, James Callum Slight sent this in. Given that 1999 was one of your best seasons, do you wish you had stayed on at Edinburgh?
I think I've already spoke about that as well. I had a James Greaves night when I retired, and that was one of the things I did say. In hindsight, I do wish I'd stayed.
It was a pretty brave thing to say in the Glasgow Marriott at the time.
But I said that night I was going to be truthful in everything I said, and I do wish I had stayed on. And again, it just proves it's not all about the money, because that's one of the reasons why I moved, was down to money. And I was happier. I wasn't happier at Edinburgh, but I rode the track better than I did at Glasgow at that time. And me and Peter Carr were racking up maximums every single week. And then the Glasgow came and offered me a great deal, and I went. But no, I should have stayed.
You should have stayed. One for Andrew Jeffrey. Derek, I'll aim this one at you. What changes would you make to the Speedway product to attract the crowds back? What could you change?
Yeah, what could you change? Well, make the obviously the admission prices a bit less, because let's be honest, it's very expensive, especially it's a family oriented sport. And for yourself, if yourself and your wife and your kids go along and they want hot dogs and they want things, it can be a very expensive night, and there's not many families out there who've got a spare 50, 60 quid a week to go and spend on Speedway, you know. But I totally understand from the promoter's point of view that the lower the admission, obviously the price to get in, and then they've not got the money to pay the bills and things like that, so it's a kind of catch-22 position. The only way that they'll make it more cost effective is to try and somehow bring down the price of running the sport, and the price of the equipment and like everything else that goes along with it. But I honestly don't know how they make that happen.